So we're going to go through here and we are going to work some of the problems. You are prepared. All right, so I'm going to start with number 1 here. Okay, so y'all follow along. Number 1, it says the number line shows the locations of points F and H. If point J is 1/3, okay, 1/3 of the way from point F to H, what is the coordinate of point J? Okay. 1/3 of the way from point F to H. So step 1, you got to figure out how far the distance is from F to H. So y'all, you just do the right point minus the left point. So H is at 6 and F is at -6. So we'll do 6 minus -6, right? So 6 minus -6 is 12. So our total distance is 12, right? But I only want to go 1/3 of that distance. So you take 12 and you multiply it by 1/3. 12 times 1/3 is 4. So now you see how it says from F to H? So from is where you're going to start. So we're going to start at F and we have to go 4 towards H. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So you could do -6 plus 4, okay, and that would give you -2. And then you can also count on the graph. If you land right here, this is at -2. So if they give you a graph, you can count on it, okay? If they don't give you a graph, then you have to do the subtracting of those points, all right? Okay, next one. It says C is the midpoint of AB. So midpoint. Midpoint means it's halfway, right? So AC and CB would be congruent, yes? So that means they're equal. So if AC is 4x minus 5 and CB is 11 plus 2x, since those are the two pieces, they're equal to each other. And then you just solve that for x. So again, bring your small one to your big one. So minus 2x. And then add 5 while you're at it, so you can get this constant to the other side. So 2x is 16. So divide by 2. X is 8. But they want us to find the length of AC and AB. So if I want to find that distance, I have to plug in. So AC would be 4 times 8 minus 5. So 32 minus 5. So AC is 27. But then they also want AB. AC is 27. That means CB is also 27. So you just take 27 times 2. And that would give you the whole thing. So AB is 54. Did you finish the text? You can work on both. Yeah. And then I'm recording these, so I'm going to put it on Canvas too, so you can listen to it later if you need. All right, number 3, that is the same thing, okay, midpoint. So those two pieces are going to be equal. Okay, number 4 there. What's going on with these two angles? What would they have to be together? Just those two. 180, right? Just a line, so 180. So basically do 180 minus 147 because they're making that line. So just subtract. So 10 minus 7 is 3. 10 minus 4 is 3. So it'd be 33. Okay. So how about number 5, y'all? What does this box mean? A right angle, yeah. So what's a right angle equal to, everybody? 90, exactly, right? 90. So A, or the 63 plus B has to equal to 90. So essentially, you're just going to do 90 minus the 63. And remember, the word for that is complementary. Complementary is two angles that add up to 90. And then supplementary was the two that add up to 180, remember? So 90 minus 63 is 27. So up here on number 4, these were supplementary. Okay. Oh, this is fun. All right, number 6. It says, using the diagram below, solve for the value of x and y. Then find the measurements of AED and BED. Okay. So this is more complicated than you're going to run into, but here we're going to solve for x, and then we're going to solve for y. We're going to do them separately, okay? Because do y'all see how these two here with the x's, they're making a straight line? So what would these two with the x's add up to? 180. And then the same thing with the y's, okay? And so we're going to do them separately. So 3x plus 5 plus that x plus 15 equals 180. Okay, so 3x and x, that's 4x, and then the 5 and the 15, that's 20. So take away 20 from both sides. So 4x is 160, right? So divide by 4. And then, so x is going to be 40. Yeah. Now, actually, I'm going to approach this from a different manner here, because this is what we're really getting at with this problem here. Y'all remember AED is right here, yes? And then we have this problem of this, sorry, angle over here, BEC. Do y'all remember the relationship between these two? When the angles are like coming together like a V? Like if they make an X together? Vertical, vertical. So this angle here and this angle here, they're congruent to each other. And we're doing this so we can solve for y, okay? So we can solve for y. Because it's going to be a little bit easier. Because now we know what x is, right? Yes? So can I know what AED is? So 3 times 40 plus 5. So 3 times 40, that's 120, plus 5. So angle AED is 125, right? So what does that tell me about this angle over here, this 4y minus 15? It's also 125. So I can use that to solve for y, okay? A little bit more easily. So 4y minus 15 equals 125. So add 15. So 4y is equal to 140. So divide that by 4. I believe you'll get 35, right? Yeah. So y is 35. And we had x is 40. We already found AED. Now BED is this guy over here. I'm drawing the squiggly line on that one. BED is this one, this x plus 15. So we'll just plug in. So x was 40 plus 15. So it's 55. And you should also notice that AED and BED, they should add up to 180, right? Because they're making that straight line. And does 125, if you add 55 to, do you get 180? Yes. All right. Now we're going to go and review about logic. Okay, logic here. We want to write, or we have to decide if the new one, so they give us the original and they tell us the new one, we have to decide if it's the converse, the inverse, the contrapositive, or none. Okay? So converse, remember your original, your conditional is if then. P then Q, right? Your converse, remember you just switch it. It's if Q then P. Your inverse was not P, then not Q. And the contrapositive, I'm just going to abbreviate. The contrapositive was both like the converse and the inverse combined together. So it's not Q, then not P. All right, so let's read here. If you go outside in the rain, so that's our P, right? Then what is your Q? You might get a cold, right? So if P, then Q. So now look at here. If you do not go outside in the rain, so do not, that would be not, right? And then what is go outside in the rain? Is that P or Q? Does go outside in the rain match P or Q? Y'all, come on. Going outside in the rain. Does that match P or does that match Q? P, good. So this one right here is not P, okay? Then you will not get a cold. So that's not Q. So we have not P, not Q. Is this converse, inverse, or contrapositive? Look at the ones we have. Inverse. Inverse. Okay, good. All right, let's see this one here. If you get all your vitamins, so get all your vitamins, that's P. Then you eat your vegetables, that's Q. Okay. The new one, do not eat your vegetables. So that's what, is that P or Q? It's Q, right? But it's not Q because it's the inverse, yes? Then what? You won't get your vitamins. It kind of matches with P, but it's the not of it, right? It's the negation of it, so not P. So is this converse, inverse, or contrapositive? Yeah, the contrapositive, good. All right. If you're eating a cookie, so eating a cookie is P, then you need a glass of milk. That's Q. So now look at our new statement. If you need a glass of milk, that matches with Q, right? Then you're eating a cookie, that matches with P. So all we did was switch Q and P. So that is our what? Right, converse. Okay, good. So now it says determine if this conjecture is true, and if not, give a counterexample. Thank you. So remember, the first part has to be true, but we're trying to prove the second part false. So it's got to be an animal that swims that is not a fish, right? What kind of animal might swim, but that it's not actually a fish? A dolphin, okay, good. So it's false, right? And so we came up with the example of a dolphin. What else? Are there some other animals that can swim that are not fish? Turtles, right? Dogs, right? You know, whales, okay? So basically you're trying to find one animal that does swim, but that it's not a fish. You're looking for the one exception to the rule, right? Okay. All right, here. We're gonna look at number 11. Sorry, there's something on my screen. All right, number 11. It says we have a true conditional. We're gonna write the converse. And then if the converse is true, we're gonna also write a biconditional. The key thing here, y'all, biconditional. Do y'all remember the wording for biconditional, what it was? If and what? Only if. Okay, that's the key phrase you need to see for biconditional. If and only if. So if two angles have the same measure, so having the same measure, that's P, then the angles are congruent, that's Q. So now the converse, you just switch that. So what? If two angles, and now we have to put Q, so are congruent. Then, what does that mean? They what? We put Q, I'm sorry, we put P, then they have the same measure. So is that true, y'all? If two angles are congruent, are they the same size? Yeah, that's the definition of being congruent, right? Okay, so the original is true, the converse is true, we can write the biconditional. So basically you take that first sentence and you kind of rewrite it. You take off the if. So two angles are congruent. And then instead of the word then, you put that if and only if. So two angles are congruent if and only if they have the same measure. Okay. All right. Number 12 here, it says name a pair of corresponding vertical, same side interior, same side exterior, alternate interior, and alternate exterior angles. And there's more than one pair of each, so we just have to name at least one, okay? So let's start with corresponding. Give me two numbers of one pair of corresponding angles, y'all. 1 and what? Corresponding means they look like they're in the same spot. Remember, you take one from that top group of 4, and you find it's matched from the bottom group. So what is angle 1 with matched down here? Angle 1 and angle 5. Do you see how like they're in the same spot? So 1 and 5. Let's try another one. Which one? Oh, yes, I'm not talking about like the same measure, but I just want to know a pair of corresponding angles. So like 3 and what? Like, do y'all see how 3 is on the bottom right of this top group of 4? Which one's on the bottom right of the bottom group of 4? 7. So like 3 and 7. Those are a pair of corresponding angles. And yes, they are congruent, okay? But we need to know like that angle pair name. So 1 and 5 is an example. 3 and 7 is an example. How about another example? Right, 4 and 8. And then 2 and 6, right? So those are all 4 pair of corresponding angles. Okay. Now we need vertical. Okay, so which one? Give me a vertical one. Yeah, 1 and 3, good. And then 6 and 8 would be another example, right? Okay. Same side interior. Right, 4 and 5 would be an example. Okay. Same side exterior. 1 and 8, okay. Now alternate interior. 4 and 6, right? Yeah. And then alternate exterior. 1 and what? 1 and 7, right? Yeah, and 1 and 7. Okay, so just remember those kinds there. All right. Now I'm gonna skip a couple problems. We're gonna come back to these, okay? But I'm gonna find the other ones that deal with parallel lines cut by a transversal. So we're thinking of the same thoughts, okay? So let's go to number 16. Okay, we're gonna look at number 16. It's on the next page. All right, y'all remember how we did the coloring of the angles? And if they were the same color, they were equal. If they were one of each color, you added them and set it equal to 180, yes? Okay, so let's color these guys here. So the x plus 40, and then the one that's vertical to it, right? And then go to your other intersection and color that same diagonal. So you see the x plus 40 and the 2x minus 22, yes? Are they the same color? Yes. So that means that they are equal. So same color means they are equal. Different color, you add to 180. All right, so these are the same. So we have x plus 40 equals 2x minus 22. Again, move your small x to your big one, so minus x minus x. And then add the 22 to get it to the other side. So x is 62. But they want us to find PQR. Okay, so PQR, we've got to plug in. PQR is this one right here, the 2x minus 22. So 2 times 62 minus 22. So 62 times 2 would be 124 minus 22. So PQR, so Q, okay, would be 102. Could I also have plugged into that x plus 40 and gotten the same thing? Yeah, because the angles are equal. All right, now we'll look at 17 here. In the figure below, S is parallel to T. So these two lines are parallel. So we know that our angles are going to be either congruent or out of 180. And then they say angle 3 is this and angle 5 is this. We need to find X. All right, do your coloring. 1 and 3 get the same color. 5 and 7 get the same color. All right, now look at 3 and 5. Are they both colored in red? Yes, so that means that they are what? Yeah, the same. They're congruent. So they're equal. So we set them equal. And then you just solve for x. So minus 13, minus 13. So 5x is 40. Divide by 5. So x is 8. All right. And then 18, you use the same kind of thinking. Okay. So now let's go back up to 13, 14, 15. Okay, this is our last kind of topic that's covered here. So it says determine what slope would create a line that is parallel and perpendicular to the given line. Okay, step one, guys, you always got to get these lines set equal to what? Y. We have to have it as y equals. So step one, solve for y. Okay, so take the 2x over to the other side. We're going to subtract, right? So 5y is equal to negative 2x plus 15. And then we have to get rid of that 5, so we divide by 5. So y equals negative 2/5 x, leave it as a fraction, plus, and then 15 divided by 5 is 3. Okay, all I care about for slope is that number right in front of the x. So that negative 2/5. So remember, parallel, oops, sorry. What do we know about parallel lines? The slopes are what? The same, yeah. And then perpendicular, yeah. So you change the sign and then you flip it. Remember, it's called opposite reciprocals. But you change the sign on it and then you flip it upside down. So for this case, parallel, it would just stay as negative 2/5. And then perpendicular, well, right now it's negative, yes. So it's going to become positive, and then you take that 2/5 and you flip it upside down, and you get 5/2. Okay. I'm not going to do number 14 because I'm going to do another one that's on a graph that goes like that. So let's do number 15. All right, so write the equation that is parallel to y equals -5x plus 8 and passes through 3, 4. All right, so parallel, same slope. So whatever number is right here in front of the x, that's our slope. And again, first check, is this solved for y equals something? Yeah, so we're good to go. So whatever number's in front of that x, that's our slope. So that's m, so -5. And then remember, from your point, you get your x and your y. And so now we just substitute in y equals mx plus b. Instead of y, I'm going to put the y for my point, so put 4. Instead of m, I'm putting that slope, so -5. I put parentheses, and I put the x from my point there, so 3, and then plus b. And then now remember, you multiply that -5 and the 3, so -15, okay? I'm going to move up here. And then you look at this number. Right now it's negative. If I want to get it to the other side, I have to do the opposite. So I'm going to add 15. So 15 plus 4 is 19. So that's b. And so now you just write y equals, and you put your m, so -5, x, and then we put b, so plus 19. There you go. All right, and then we got a couple more, and then we'll be done. So now if y'all will go to number 22, and then we're going to go back up to number 20. All right, 22. We want to find the equation of the line that's going to be perpendicular to this and goes through the point 3, -2. So step 1 is to find the slope. All right, so look at your graph. Remember, it's rise over run. And you always go from left to right. So start here, and we're going to use this point over there. We're going to go up 2, and then we're going to go to the right 1, 2, 3. So our rise was 2 because we're going up, and then our run is 3 because we're going to the right. So 2/3. That's m. That's our original one. But we want it to be perpendicular, right? So you have to change the sign. So it's going to become negative, and then you got to flip it over. So 3/2. So this is the new one that we want to use. Okay, and then now we substitute in and solve for b. So y equals mx plus b. So instead of y, I'm going to put -2. That's coming from my point. M is the -3/2. Put your x, which is 3, and then plus b. Multiply these two here. So -2 is -9/2 plus b. And now I need to move this -9/2 to the other side, so I have to add. So plus 9/2. And now we'll do that in your calculator. Do -2 plus 9/2. And you leave it as a fraction, okay? So 9 over 2 plus -2, you will get 5 over 2. So now y equals, we put our m, which was -3 over 2, x, and then you put b, and it's positive, so it's plus 5 over 2. There you go. Now we're going to do our last one, angle addition, and then we're ready to go. Just bear with me for 1 minute. All right, here you go. They tell us YMC, so that's the whole thing, is 170. Part plus part equals the whole thing. So this 5x plus 19 plus 5x plus 1 equals 170. Combine like terms. 10x plus 20 equals 170. Take away 20. So 10x is 150. Divide by 10. So x is 15. But we need A and C. So that's this one. So do 5 times 15 plus 1. And you get 76. Okay, guys. So we've done like most of them together. There's only a couple. And the ones that are left over are just like ones we've done before. So study that. I'm putting this video up on Canvas so you can use it if you need to reference it, okay?